If you don't copyright that song that you think a hit, and it turned out to be a hit, somebody go copyright that song and own that song, and their grandkids go to school and live good off of that when you could just follow these simple steps to do so for your family.
You are now listening to the BV Mobile Apps Podcast. The show is designed to help you grow your mobile app audience and get advice from experts in your industry. Now, here's your host, Sean Garvey.
What's going on, everybody? It is Sean Garvey here on the BV Mobile Apps Podcast. Thank you so much for joining with us. If you are new to the podcast, I want to let you know that this show is designed to help grow your mobile app audience and to get advice from experts in your industry. Now, speaking of experts in the industry, I have two experts on the telephone lines with me today, and they happen to be twin brothers, and they developed a new app especially for aspiring artists. So we're going to educate a lot of artists listening to us on the BV Mobile Apps Podcast. And we happen to have two clients of BV Mobile on the telephone lines. We have AJ and SJ Jackson of the TCOHH, better known as the College of Hip Hop. How you guys doing today?
We all right.
Good. And I'm speaking to both AJ and SJ.
Correct.
All right. Thank you so much for joining in with us right here on the BV Mobile Apps Podcast. And I like doing shows like these because I think it's so important that we educate artists about learning the ins and outs and the business of the industry. How did this idea of the College of Hip Hop come about?
This is AJ. Hey, how y'all doing out there? The idea of the College of Hip Hop spawned from us just wanting to leave our mark in entertainment, and we felt like, because we were once artists, and we felt like we need something that's going to live on longer than a hit song. And we brainstormed one day coming from a music conference. We're actually from Inkster, Michigan. That's 20 minutes from Detroit, but we was down in Ohio at a music conference, and we just noticed that a lot of the artists wasn't big on education, so we created a website, thecollegeofhiphop.org, to help with the education of artists, and that's current artists who want to get in the game at any point in your artist career, because what we found out is just because an artist do it professionally, that don't mean they know what they're doing educationally. So we created the collegeofhiphop.org, and then the app was the evolution of the collegeofhiphop.org.
Now, you guys could have developed anything else outside of music. You all could have developed an app for comic book junkies or movie junkies or anybody that likes a different kind of art form outside of hip hop. Why did you all decide to choose this genre of music?
Well, the College of this is SJ speaking. The collegeofhiphop.org is really just called the College of Hip Hop, but what we teach it's for everybody who is in the entertainment industry. And the reason that we chose the entertainment industry route is because a lot of these kids out here in our urban communities, this is what they want to do. They want to do entertainment, but they don't know or understand that it's an actual business. And if your business is correct, that one hit record can actually take care of you for the rest of your life. So we chose to do an entertainment, and it's entertainment education. That's what we call the app is an entertainment education app. So we chose entertainment education because when we was going to all these conferences and we were talking to a lot of people, they just didn't understand the business aspect of it, and we felt like it's just time for us as the urban community to take the business aspect back of the entertainment industry so we can prosper and send our grandkids to college like everybody else is.
Okay, so let's cover a few layers here regarding the app. You all cover various things for aspiring artists to know about the industry side of things, such as publishing, such as copyrights, working with ASCAP, BMI, setting budgets, and a lot more. So let's say, for an example, you have an artist that's listening to us right now on the BV Mobile Apps Podcast, and he or she is asking the question, how can I get the right manager for me to manage what I'm doing? How do artists find that one manager that is suitable for them?
Okay, well, with management, it's the number one question an artist should always ask while seeking management is, do I have anything to manage? That's not a slight to the artist. That's a real question because managers give their all to artists. the artist comes first when you're a manager. So if you don't have something to management, like say, are you selling features? When you do have shows, who book the show? Because the manager and the booking agent aren't the same thing. People always associate managers and booking agents. People also associate managers with labels. Is this a manager or is this somebody who you want to fund your career? So the artists really need to take a hard look at themselves and say, do I have anything to manage, right? And if they have something to manage, it's just like the right manager will find you. Because if I'm a manager and you've been out here on your grind and I keep seeing you and seeing you and seeing you, if I'm interested in you, I will ask you, do you have a manager? How can we work together? How can we help build something together? But people need to understand that someone funding your career is not your manager. They're your financier. Someone booking your shows is not your manager. That's your booking agent and stuff like that. So first you need to see, do I have something to manage? And make sure you don't need one of those other things and you just think it's the job of a manager.
Let me follow up with that, because I've seen artists come in with managers that happen to be longtime friends of theirs or even parents. Like, say, for example, you have a lot of teen artists, young artists that are managed by their parents, especially their moms. We call them momagers. I know you heard that term plenty of times. Is it a good idea for artists, especially young artists that are in their teens or in their adolescent stage? Is it a good idea for young kids to have parents as their managers?
This is SJ speaking. Speaking from an aspect of a parent, I would say that it's a good idea to have somebody who cares about you like a parent on your team. Now, your mom doesn't necessarily have to be your manager because she might not know the business, but she needs to be there. Somebody needs to be there who cares about you and not just your talent. So as a parent, I would say, yes, I don't have a problem with a mother or a father being on the management team. You know, because a true artist has a management team and different people handle different things on that management team. So if I was a parent, like I'm a parent, so if I didn't know enough about whatever my daughter wanted to do, but I still would be there present learning, but I would go put her career in somebody's hands who knows the business, but I still would be there. But some managers, the term manager is like a bad term because if you say somebody has a manager, they're normally ruining what's going on in the eyes of people who trying to deal with the artist, deal with it, whatever the talent is, whether that's a basketball player, rapper, singer. But I would suggest that as a parent that you want to be close to the situation that involves your kids, so you might just want to be on the management team and go find somebody that can do a better job as they know the industry or the field that you're trying to get your child in.
You know, people can say, oh, well, I can be a manager and I can manage this person's career. I see a lot of potential in them, but it takes more than just providing those things or helping them book shows. It takes more than that, right?
Right. To actually touch on your point earlier, managers are like chosen. And what I mean by that is it takes a special person to want to be a manager and be a great manager because they understand that at the end of the day, when you're a manager, it's kind of like a really good babysitter because you have to make sure this artist stays in line. This artist is the income, right? So you have to make sure that the income is good at all times. Some of these artists are very difficult because they artists, and what comes with artistry, any type of artistry and any type of talent is ego. So you have to be able to take that ego, be this person's parent, everything. If they call in the middle of the night, are you prepared to jump out your bed and you just had a newborn? Are you prepared to jump out your bed at 4 o'clock in the morning to go make sure that you can make sure that this artist is straight and you don't even know what's going on yet? So you got to be built a certain type of way to even consider yourself a manager or to even carry it out. And we think, like, too many people think just because they seen somebody else do it that I can do that too. And it's like, if you put your research into it and discover this is what you want to do, yeah, but you just can't say I can be a manager because such and such a manager. You don't know what such and such put into this craft. Management is a craft just as much as the artistry.
For those who are just tuning into the BV Mobile Apps podcast, we are talking to AJ and SJ Jackson of the College of Hip Hop, and they are here on the BV Mobile Apps podcast today to talk about the business side of the music industry and their app that is designed to help aspiring artists. Now, I want to switch gears for a moment and talk about copyrights, which is very important also. Copyrights. We have independent artists, aspiring artists, artists that are just now getting their foot wet and getting into the industry. They put all this music out there, but it's not properly legalized or copywritten. How can one artist make sure that they take the legal steps to get their music copywritten before they put it out there?
This is SJ speaking again. Well, artists can take the proper steps by actually downloading the College of Hip Hop app, and we actually have a seminar on copyrights, because getting your intellectual property copyrighted is how you maintain it for yourself. Like, that's yours. You're saying that it's mine. So if you download the app and you listen to the seminar on copyright, it will be better explained there, because it's not hard as people think, but it's a process that you probably have to hear over and over again if you're that type of learner. So the best thing for an artist to do will be to download the College of Hip Hop app and listen to the seminar on copyrights, so they can really understand how to copyright your music and your intellectual property, because that's your ownership. That's part of your ownership. Copyright is a big part of your ownership.
How long have you all been putting the seminars out there?
This is AJ speaking. We've been actually doing that for a long time, because when we were young, when we said that we wanted to get into music, our father purchased us a book about music. And at one point, we took for granted that all these things we were learning, that everyone was learning. So when we would talk to artists and ask them about what pro organization they are part of and stuff like that, that's performance rights organization, ASCAP, BMI, CSAC. CSAC didn't even exist back when we was talking to artists. So we would teach people anyway. So we've been doing this for a long time. Then we said to get to the masses, we would have to do something like a seminar on film that could get to the masses, because what people don't understand that publishing, that's one part of the music business. That's one income stream. Record sales, that's another income stream. Licensing, music licensing, that's another income stream. Licensing actually is two income streams, because it's sync licensing and all of that, and how to collect the money through your pro, why these pros exist and everything like that. So we say, man, we have to educate the people, because if we hoard this knowledge, it don't do no good for us. We already know it. You know what I mean? What good is it if we already know it if we don't teach it to somebody? And through that, that's how we get our blessings, making sure we teach what was taught. And a lot of people don't understand that, that concept. I don't care what kind of position you in if I can make your position better through education. And that's going to live on. My legacy and my brother's legacy will live on forever, because if you don't copyright that song that you think a hit and it turned out to be a hit, somebody go copyright that song and own that song, and they grandkids go to school and live good off of that, when you could just follow these simple steps to do so for your family.
I want to know, how can people get involved with the College of Hip Hop? What else are you offering to artists and to people looking to get involved in the College of Hip Hop?
This is SJ speaking. People can get involved with the collegeofhiphop.org by visiting that website. It's an actual website, the collegeofhiphop.org. And when you go to the collegeofhiphop.org, you sign up and you pay a fee of $19.96 for the year. And that year subscription gives you unlimited access to all of the seminars and all of the blogs and everything. And that also gives you access to us, because you can contact us directly from that if you have questions. And we do consultation, and we help people put together tours, and we help artists get their songs to DJs. We like a one-stop shop, but the only way our one-stop shop actually works, it begins with education. So if you're an artist and you're not willing to learn the things that we're trying to teach you to make sure your business is intact, we don't want to offer a consultation. If your song is not copyrighted and published and encoded, there's no reason for us to take your songs to the DJ. So it's like a process. Once we see that somebody's paying attention and learning, and then we talk to them, then we offer services that can further help them at the collegeofhiphop.org. So if anybody wants to get involved, they can go to the website, the collegeofhiphop.org.
You all also released and published a book. It happens to be your first book, and it's called The 10 Steps to Profit from Your Passion. Talk to us a little bit about that particular book, and what did you want people to get out of the book?
This is AJ speaking. 10 Steps to Profit from Your Passion was actually a collection by different authors, and we put it together. That's why it's the College of Hip Hop Presents and not AJ and SJ Presents. And it's basically saying we take it from a musical standpoint, but we were saying if you follow these 10 steps in life, period, and you feel like you're passionate about something, then it can work for you, but you have to put in the work. And people mistake work for being anything other than that. If you're passionate about something, it don't seem like work. So that's why it's 10 steps to profit from your passion. Your passion might be comedy. Well, if your passion comedy, you still need the budget for your outfit. You still need to put the work in. You still need to do all of these steps. But we just took it from a musical standpoint and gathered a collection from different artists and released it like that. And that's available on Amazon.com. You can just type in 10 steps to profit from your passion, and you can get it in an ebook form, in a hard copy form. It's actually a paperback, but a physical form.
You mastered the app. You all released a book. What's next for you guys?
This is SJ speaking. We actually currently have a podcast called The Connected Experience, and you can listen to the Connected Experience podcast wherever you listen to your podcast at, and we're actually on a real big platform with our podcast. So the Connected Experience is actually dedicated to putting people together that we feel like need to be connected with each other. So sometimes we'll take two guests, so we'll take a rapper and a DJ, and we'll connect them on the show, but the show will have a separate topic. It won't actually be about rap or DJ. We'll just be talking, and we also interview like legends. Like we were fortunate enough to interview Jazz Prince of Rap A Lot Records. We were fortunate enough to interview Esham, who was a very big independent artist. We were fortunate enough to interview PK Kirkland, and it's just a host of people that we interview because people like to come sit and talk to us because it's just great conversation. It's actually not an interview, it's a conversation. So alongside with the Connected Experience podcast, in 2018, we declared May Urban Podcast Month, and this year, 2019, we're continuing the tradition with May be an Urban Podcast Month. And what Urban Podcast Month is that's a month for all the urban podcasts to celebrate the podcast culture before somebody else try to kick us out of the culture or before somebody else try to tell us when to celebrate it. So if you are an urban podcast, you this year we will be using the hashtag 2019 UTM, and that hashtag, by clicking that hashtag, that will let you know what's going on in your area. So if you're in Atlanta and you're throwing a live event and you hashtag 2019 UTM, if somebody in Atlanta hit that hashtag and they know that May 6th you have an event. So we just want to celebrate Urban Podcast Month all around the world in May, and we gonna go to people's events, and we throwing an event. So it's not what next is what now. Right now is the Connected Experience podcast. In May, it's Urban Podcast Month, and the hashtag will be 2019 UPM. So that's what we're currently doing right now.
Who would you like to have on your podcast that you haven't had on your podcast yet?
We actually have a list of people because we believe if you speak it into the universe, it can happen. So we currently would like to speak with, on our list, Whack 100. He from the West Coast. He he was the gang manager. Right now, people probably know him from managing Blueface. Tony Draper. Tony Draper created Suave House Records. That was big in the 90s and early 2000s. The 8-Ball MJG come from Suave House. Tila come from Suave House. People like that. So we got a list, and we've been knocking people off our list actually for this year too. So we just like to get people off our list. Not to cut you off. But somebody that we, the interview that we, the conversation that we actually really want to get though is with Kane and Abel, former No Limit recording artists, and they do movies and they do TV shows now. So that'll be big for us because we will actually get to sit and talk with some other twins, and we can relate on a lot of levels. So besides all the other people we said, Kane and Abel will be. Their name is what is it? Danny and Daniel Garcia. What is their name? Daniel and David Garcia. So we really trying to get them. We're actually going to get them. Yeah.
Shout outs to BV mobile apps. I want to remind people that this show is designed to help grow your mobile app audience and to get advice from experts in your industry. Like we have experts that are joining with us right here on the BV Mobile Apps Podcast, AJ and SJ Jackson of the College of Hip Hop. So with BV Mobile Apps, how did that come into fruition with you guys? How did you all hear about BV mobile apps?
This is AJ speaking. We actually heard about the app company through the Nerve DJs. DJ Johnny O and Big Hess, they really good allies of ours. They have been for at least the last 7 years. When we said we was in Ohio coming from a music conference, it actually was a Nerve DJs music conference. They always showed us a lot of respect, and it's mutual on both ends, and a lot of love, and it's mutual on both ends. And we were actually speaking like, yo, what's the evolution of the website? What's the evolution of the website? And then they started talking about the app company, and we reached out. Like I said, we from Inkster, so we follow the path we're supposed to. And I know one of the owners is actually from Detroit, or has Detroit roots, so that was a good thing for us. And then we worked with the company. I think we're going on our 3rd year in this partnership with the company, and it's just all mutual love and respect on our end.
How much has BV mobile apps made an impact on your current endeavor right now?
This is SJ speaking. The app has had a tremendous impact on our current endeavors because the app is actually free. So if you go to wherever you get your apps from, the College of Hip Hop app is actually free, but the website is a paid service, which is actually the collegeofhiphop.org is $19.96. So the difference in the app and the website is on the app it's all audio. On the website it's all visual. So we knew. We had the foresight to see that people were going to start listening to more audio versions of books and things like that. So the app has actually helped with that, because when we were trying to develop the app and we were going to different companies, they told us we wouldn't get like 50 downloads. Like, that's what all the big app companies that were saying. Oh, apps don't do this and blah, blah, blah. When we surpassed that, a whole lot. So we know that the app is effective. And we also get the opportunity to upload about the Connected Experience podcast through the app as well. So it just inform people that's paying attention to what we're doing, everything we have going on.
All right, guys. AJ, SJ from the College of Hip Hop, the one-stop source for entertainment education and teaching new artists the business skills they need to survive in this ever-evolving industry known as the entertainment industry. And before we let you guys go, we do this thing towards the end of the podcast called Fun Facts. So that way we can have the listeners learn more about you guys, some great fun facts that they do not know about you, okay? So my first question for the Fun Facts segment is, speaking of hip-hop, what was the first hip-hop album that you all purchased?
This is SJ speaking. The first album that I actually purchased, not listened to, but purchased, I think was Willie D of the Ghetto Boys, I'm Going Out Like a Soldier. I think that was the first album that I actually purchased with my own money. And this is AJ, the first album that I purchased was Eric B. and Rakim, Paid For. I remember buying that cassette tape like it was yesterday.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you guys are from Michigan, and there was one piece I read previously where you all pretty much left home and you all had to raise yourself. How old were you all at the time when you all left home to pretty much take care of yourselves?
This is SJ speaking. We probably left home, seriously. We never actually had a curfew, so we've been off the porch, so to speak, since we were 10 years old. But living at home, it was 1996. I remember it was 1996, so we were either 13 or 14, but it definitely was 1996.
Oh, wow. Okay, so y'all were already adults, then y'all were taking care of business, paying your own bills, and doing what you all had to do in order to survive early. So I feel you on that. You all were in a group back in the day called, was it Identical or More Identical?
It's Identical, and that's because we're twin brothers, and then our website was More Identical, because if you went to the website, you got More Identical.
Okay, so what were some of the subject matters or some of the things that you all rapped about once upon a time?
This is SJ speaking. We had It was reality rap. We did reality rap, so we had fun with our music. We had hard times with our music. We had real life situations with our music. So it was just reality. It wasn't what the media calls gangster rap, because that's a media thing to like destroy rap. But it was just reality rap. We were kids and we were having fun at some points in our music. Then we grew to be adults and we were going through real things in our music. So it was just whatever we were living at the time, we were doing it like. So we used to rap about things that we did. We didn't do things to rap about them, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, we got to get you all in the studio one day and spit some bars to us, to our listeners, because y'all not just doing apps and podcasts and writing books, but y'all got some bars, I bet.
Yeah, but if people want to listen to us, they can just go on the streaming services. But if people really want to listen to us, they can hear our perspectives by listening to the Connected Experience podcast, the Connected Experience podcast with AJ and SJ. Like, that gives you a better look into who we are now, because we tell stories about things that was happening to us that we've been through growing up, and just to see the evolution and the way we evolved into the gentleman that we are today is just like, is dope. So like, if you listen from episode 1 all the way up into the episode that we got now, it's like different episodes, just we can relate to the guests more because we've been through a lot of things.
AJ and SJ Jackson, the guys behind the College of Hip Hop, definitely artists. You got to take heed of this, because if you want to learn more about what happens behind the scenes in the music or in the entertainment industry in general, these are the guys that you got to go to. And we heard so many horror stories throughout decades and years, gentlemen, about how artists have been mistreated and mishandled in the industry. So we need something like this for a lot of aspiring artists and people that want to get into the entertainment industry. So I commend you guys for taking the time to speak to our listeners today right here on the BV Mobile Apps podcast with this wonderful information. Now, go ahead and give out your contact information, including your social media handle. How can people get in contact with you all?
Well, this is if you want to follow us, you can follow us on we have three Instagram pages. You can follow TCOHH app, TCOHH app. You can also follow the College of Hip Hop. That's all one word, the College of Hip Hop. And you can also follow TCE Pod, TCE Pod. So that's TCOHH app, the College of Hip Hop, all one word, and TCE Pod. That's the best way to contact us. You can also contact us at pr@tcohh.org. That's pr@tcohh.org. And that's the best way to contact us. But download the app. You can contact us through the app. You go to your app store. You can download the College of Hip Hop app. Or you can also go to the collegeofhiphop.org. You can contact us. Anything the College of Hip Hop. That's all us.
All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, that is the College of Hip Hop app. You can download the app right now, and you can also go to the collegeofhiphop.org or tcohh.org and download the app and learn more information about the College of Hip Hop. And the email address that you want to give out to our listeners in case, and I know that we have a lot of artists that have more questions for you guys. What is the email address that people can learn more information about the TCOHH and if they have any additional questions?
The email address is pr@tcohh.org. That's pr@tcohh.org.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, right here on the BV Mobile Apps podcast. Thank you so much, SJ and AJ Jackson, for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk to our listeners. And much success to you guys and your future endeavors. And congratulations on the success of the College of Hip Hop app.
Thank you for having us. Appreciate that. I want for my brother what I want for myself. I want for myself. Thank you.
All right, guys. All right. Thank you all so much. And this, of course, is Sean Garvey. Make sure you go to bvmobileapps.com for more information about the BV mobile apps. And you can also shoot us an email, podcast@bvmobileapps.com. That's podcast@bvmobileapps.com. And special thanks to Gerald Oliveri and Marshall Lyons for helping me orchestrate this interview. And once again, the email address is podcast@bvmobileapps.com. Until then, Take care. Bye-bye.
It's a new year. It's a new day. We're starting it over. Starting the day.
Thank you for listening to the BV Mobile Apps Podcast with your host, Sean Garvey. For more information about BV Mobile Apps, visit the website, bvmobileapps.com. Don't forget to follow BV Mobile Apps on social media at BV Mobile Apps. Tune in again next time on the BV Mobile Apps Podcast.